All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to not this week, but today's edition of the Combat Sports Report. My name is Gil Guillory, and I am going to recap what happened on Bellator last night. And as I watched that show, a couple things became apparent to me, and that is that Bellator will never be a UFC. So stop saying it's a competitor because it's not. And the relic matches, the matches like Tito and Chael, where they really have no business being in the cage. Those are still a draw. People want to watch it. I wanted to watch it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was an excellent opportunity for two guys who really wanted to fight each other to get out there and fight. And for people like me who love the old school fighting styles, the old school extravaganza around the old school fight. I loved it. So I thought it was good. All right, so let's open up with the show had on the main card. We had one, two, three, four, five fights on the main card. The first one opened up with Derek Campos versus Derek Anderson. Excellent fight. Derek Campos is one tough son of a gun. Derek Anderson, a little softer, not that tough guy, more polished. But there's something to say about coming forward, not giving up, throwing punches, fighting through exhaustion. Derek Campos has that fighting style that I love, that tough caveman style. Very well-educated fighter now. He's an educated fighter as far as mixed martial arts is concerned, but he's got that style, the one that you love, that offensive lineman type style. And in round one, that was an even fight. I thought Campos took the first opening part of that. Then Anderson came on strong toward the end of the round. I would give that an even round. Round two, clearly Campos had him with the forward aggression, more activity, trying to engage. He had Anderson backing up the whole time. He dropped Anderson a couple times, took him down once. In round three, Campos kept moving forward. Anderson kept reacting only to what he was doing. Campos got a takedown with probably about a 1.5 minutes left in the fight. He kept pushing, uh, pushing, trying to do things. Campos, I believe that finally put him over the edge, because if he would have lost that round three, you're looking at a draw. That's how simple it was. But he won that round three, and that gave him the victory. At one point, Campos rolled him out, took his back. Anderson kept past him and sat in his guard. You know, he didn't really do much after that. He just sat in Campos's guard. So Campos won a unanimous decision, an easy unanimous decision, in my opinion. That second fight of the night was Georgie Karakhanyan versus Emmanuel Sanchez. Now, I don't know how to say Georgie's last name, so y'all have to forgive me. But Sanchez started out outworking Georgie. Georgie had no answer for Emmanuel Sanchez's work rate. Toward the end of round two, that round two got marred by fouls from both fighters, with 1 point taken away from Sanchez for that illegal knee on the downed opponent. That was all accidental. None of that happened with any ill will toward it, but it did happen. Round three, we saw Georgie take Sanchez's back. But doesn't work for the finish. He just holds on. He sat there holding on, didn't work for a finish, and it was something like Sanchez at that point, to me, with his back taken, was still outworking Georgie. It was just the craziest thing I ever seen. And Georgie had his back at that point. So I thought it was really sad fighting from Georgie. One judge, I think, saw it even, which is very sad in my opinion. But Georgie won by majority decision. I just don't understand how anybody could see that in that manner. It was crazy to me. But anyway, the next fight was a fight that should have never happened. The Gracie fighting style is the most primitive and disgusting display of self-defense I've ever seen. It looks so prehistoric by today's standards that Relic Gracie should be just barred from competing. That was Cato versus Relic Gracie, was the third fight of the show. And, I mean, the aura surrounding the Gracie name still sits there, but it should be clearly gone. Their commitment to BJJ is commendable, but MMA is the evolution of combat. And I am so surprised at how much time that they spent developing and pushing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that they don't develop the MMA fighting style, theirs, their fighting style to match what's happening in MMA. Every gym across the country is pushing the envelope with BJJ, wrestling, boxing, mixed martial arts, just working so hard to evolve combat to the point where we're at with MMA. And it's just amazing to me that the Gracies have a non-committal uh, to the art of MMA. You know, it just I mean to the they're just not even trying. I mean, MMA is to combat what BJJ was to combat in 1993. Combat has evolved, but the Gracie form of combat just hasn't. Is just sitting there, and it's sad to believe that this is happening with them. Um, it just their fighting style is so primitive, and it was an easy fight to judge. Gracie did nothing until about 2 minutes left in the third. It was really a sad fight, but I'll give Cato. I picked Cato by unanimous decision, which is exactly how the judges saw it. The next fight was one of those performance of the night fights. I mean, even though it lasted only a couple of minutes, it was exciting. It was Paul Daly versus Brennan Ward. Both these guys came out to fight. I mean, if it wasn't for that spinning back elbow that rocked him and then that jumping knee, both dynamic techniques that just really put Brennan Ward out. Uh, but this type of fight was exactly what the people pay to see. Um, the explosive elbow with the flying knee finish. This is exactly what was needed to save the show after that horrible display of MMA in the previous bout between Cato and Relic Gracie. That was just disgusting. But this fight was exciting. It only lasted a couple of minutes, but it was exciting. The first fight between Campos and Anderson, that was exciting. The second fight with Georgie and Emmanuel, that was a good fight also. But the two best fights of the night, in my opinion, were Campos and Anderson versus Brennan Ward and Daly. And even though Daly and Ward didn't last long, it was very exciting. And Daly won that by knockout. It was just amazing what he did. The final fight of the night was the main event with Tito and Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen just makes me upset to even be a part of what we call mixed martial arts. I think his utter disrespect for people in general, the smack talk, especially taking it to the level that he took it in this fight, attacking Tito's ex-wife, Jenna Jameson, and just or Gemma Jameson, whatever her name is, and just attacking her with those snide comments. Um, he really has to think about what he was doing because they have kids together. And those kids, I think, are old enough to understand what's going on. Those kids have to go to school every day and face what happened or what Chael Sonnen said about their mother and have to be reminded about the stuff that their mother has done to make a living. Or maybe even she liked it. Who knows? But it's just disgusting at how he brought this to a different level. From the look of it, from the onset of it, I just thought Tito was going to smash him. Tito looked in shape. Tito looked good. He was hyped up. His body looked tight. He looked muscular and strong. Tito is a expert at cutting weight, so I knew that on the night of the fight, his weight difference over Chael would be tremendous. Chael looked soft, uh, out of shape. He just looked like he didn't give a shit. He just wanted a payday, and it was disgusting. It opened up where Tito took that single leg, and it was an ugly single leg. By no means was it proper or standard. Um, but in the opening exchange, standing up, Tito was holding his ground, throwing a left-right combo that looked to 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 not daze Chael, but it actually kept Chael at bay. So when he reached over, bending over at the waist and grabbed that front leg, he was able to leg whip him down. And when he did that, that was the start to where we got to the point where Chael tried for the arm in choke. Uh, he tried for the Darce, but Tito was too thick. His head and neck was just too thick. As Chael reached his underarm to the opposing elbow to try to get it, only his fingertips were touching his bicep on the other arm. Just the fingertips. I mean, Tito was that thick. Tito floated over as Chael tried to slide under him to work on that arm and neck chokes. Tito was able to float over into half guard. He was in the side guard first, then Chael got the one leg in and give him the half guard, and Chael held on. It was like, okay, well, you're going to burn yourself out at that point. So Tito just forced the elbow down off the back of his head and was able to pop himself up. And that was the beginning of the end. So to try to save himself from a ground and pound finish, Chael turned and gave his, Chael turned and gave his back, which was the start of everything. Uh, the official finish is a rear naked choke, but it really wasn't a real naked choke. It was more of a compression of the jaw. But since there is no compression of the jaw technique, uh, they call it a rear naked choke. Chael turned into the elbow, tucked his chin below the crease of the elbow so that he couldn't get the arm around the neck properly to give the choke to cut the wind and then the blood off. So Tito just held on for dear life, squeezing. And a guy that strong can submit you. I've been submitted and have submitted people in the gym from just that compression of the jaw. So when you start to lock that in and pull and pull and pull, and start to squeeze, not necessarily pull, but squeeze, the uncomfortableness, the actual pressure on the jaw is amazing. And I've tapped out. I've had opponents tap out from that too. So a guy as strong as Tito can do it, and did it last night against Chael Sonnen. And the beauty of it was that Chael was just beaten. There's nothing he could say about it. Now a lot of these guys are going to talk about Tito. It was a fixed fight. Tito tapped Chael and told him to let go of the Darce attempt and the front face lock and all this other crap. That's bull. That was a legit fight, and I am so happy that Tito beat them. Bellator did its job. They brought us a good fight card, except for that Relic Gracie debacle. But I like these type of fights where you bring the old guys back, grudge match type of fight that really has no bearing on the world standings or the world title or any of that. So my fighters of the night are going to be Derek Campos and Tito Ortiz. I think both of those guys earned it. Campos, I just like Campos' style, that trench warfare type style, keeps coming forward. He's going to take a beating. He's going to give a beating. And to beat a guy like that, you got to be just mentally and physically tough. You got to be a bad movo. So Derek Campos with my fighter of the night. Tito with my fighter of the night. I both loved it. Love both of their fights, and then I really enjoyed that Bellator show. So this is the end. Of course, this week is as I wrap up my review for the Combat Sports Report of Bellator. I hope you guys start paying more attention to us. Start get on YouTube. We are the Combat Sports Report on YouTube. Get on Facebook. We're the Combat Sports Report on Facebook. And follow us, our Twitter, Combat Sports Report on Twitter. You can do all of that. Just follow us, man. I'm going to be updating everything from professional wrestling to boxing to mixed martial arts. This is my love, my passion. This is Gil Guillory. I'm signing off for the Combat Sports Report. Hope to talk to you guys soon. Later.